This session is all about mobilizing, loosening of the spine and the back area. For this, you're going to need a roller. If you are lucky enough to have a choice of rollers, I suggest you get a relatively smooth, soft one, because it can be uncomfortable with the bobbly ones. But if that's all you've got and you're comfortable to use it, then go for it. So starting off, we're going to work on the thoracic spine, which is the very top of our back via our shoulder blades, and it's responsible for a lot of our movement in terms of twisting, rotating. And if we're looking to do overhead movements, such as if you're swimming, front crawl, or if you're in sort of lifting of any sort, then actually that's the area that tends to get pretty tight. So popping the roller down on the mat, adjusting yourself, I'm going to place it across our shoulder blades. So moving your way and go gently onto this. It can be a little bit uncomfortable. Slowly moving down, allowing your bottom to have contact with the mat. If you can, just letting that neck go. If that's really uncomfortable, placing something underneath the neck to support it. But try not to hold it up because that just creates tension down the traps. So I'm just moving around here. So I should, if I've got nice mobility in my spine, have my bottom in contact with the mat and have the crown of my head on the floor. If you're not quite there, don't worry, but just support yourself using various props. So I've got my feet hip width apart. I'm going to take my heels a little bit closer to my bottom for a bit more comfort. And I'm just going to keep breathing. I'm in an extended position, so my spine is in the extension. So automatically that's changing the way in which I'm breathing. So I'm going to try and keep that nice and regular and controlled. I'm either just going to keep my hands hugging my chest from side to side, or I'm going to take them over the top of my head. We're just going to be in this position for a little while, so just find a position that works for you. What we really want to happen is you should feel a nice pull across the top, and it's just moving around as well. So if you're comfortable too, I'm just pulsing and moving from side to side, really slow and really small micro movements here. We don't want to do anything too big in this position, but we can move. So we're allowing for mobility to happen. I'm going to keep my hands or my arms locked on my chest for now. Just going to move from side to side, keeping my breath going. If you have got your hands overhead, that's a little bit more of a challenging position. Try and drive your fingers, your wrists into the mat. As you do so and you drive your elbows in, you'll feel you get a little bit more extension in the spine. Only do it if it's comfortable. And if you've got a bit of a tweaky lower back, maybe go easy on this. Maybe move your hands from side to side, up and down, it's up to you. And then just finding a nice comfortable position for 5. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, okay, so we're going to take our hands away from our chest. We're going to just place them on the mat either side of us, or you can place it underneath your head if you've got a sore neck. We're going to bring the chin towards the chest, so lift the neck first and the head first, and then we're slowly going to sort of round our back, take our hands either side of our bodies and sit up. So we're going to have our feet out in front of us, so we're in a nice seated position. You can see that I'm nice and upright here. I'm going to take my left hand to the outside of my left glute, my bum, and take my right hand over the top of my right thigh, my left thigh, and then I'm just going to slowly twist. I'm not going to go too deep here. I'm just going to sort of twist out that position that we've been in on the roller. So moving back to center, maybe rolling those shoulders that are a bit tight, taking your right hand to the outside of your right glute and the left hand over the top of the right leg. So just breathing for 2. For 1, slowly coming back. Again, rolling those shoulders, tucking the chin into the chest, rounding the back, and then slowly coming up to a nice seated position. Again, keeping those shoulders nice and low. So really nice posture here. Taking the roller once again, we're going to place it in the middle of our spine now. So we're going to be on our backs, so not upright like I am, on our backs. We're going to place it somewhere around this region. You have to play with it to see what feels good and what doesn't. I'm going to do it from the front profile. So I'm going to slowly lean back onto that roller. So take your time again, try and relax that head down, have your bottom on the mat, and just allow that rib cage to flare out a little bit again. Just keep on breathing here. You can either have your elbows on the mat and your hands on the lower part of your rib cage if you'd like to, if you're finding this position quite difficult, or you can bring your hands together, linking them together on that rib cage. So from here, if you want to have a little bit of movement and that's comfortable, you're just going to drop your right elbow towards the mat and then your left elbow towards the mat. So keep doing that, either finding some stillness, or just rocking from one side to the other. Just make the movements nice and small. You don't need to do anything drastic here. Being in this extended position is actually really good for our spines, but we need to be careful. So just take the time, maybe adjust your feet, have a wider stance. Keep those shoulders away from your ears if you can. Try and relax that head. I'm just going to do this for 5, 4, making the movements as you'd like to for 3, 2, for 1. Good. Bring your chin towards your chest, take your hands either side of your body and just rolling over towards the left-hand side of the room, allowing that roller to be away from your back and take it and pop it into a position where it is handy, but we're not going to use it right now. So I'm going to do this from a side profile and then I'm going to go with my feet towards you from a profile. So we're on to our left-hand side of our body. I've got my left hand and my right hand together and they're planted on the floor. From here, I'm going to keep my body facing the left-hand side of the room. So on my left side, facing the left side, I'm going to just lift my right hand up towards the ceiling, keep my hips in place or as far in place as I can, and then dropping my right hand down towards the floor, shoulder blade on the floor. Lifting up with control. So you can see from a profile here, got my left hand out. My head is on the mat or as close to the mat as feels comfortable. Lifting up that right hand, opening up, keeping my hips, trying to get them to face towards the left-hand side of the room. Lifting up with control, taking my gaze with that hand. If that's comfortable, this might be really hard. So if it's really hard, just maybe go up to 90 degrees or maybe go a little bit further. Or if the lead is too much, bend that elbow, maybe touch that elbow down. So 3 on each side. We've done a couple. And then last one. Keep breathing. Keep that core nice and tight if you can. If you can squeeze that pelvic floor, all the better. Right, bring those hands up to center, rolling onto your back, and then going over to the other side. So now, I'm on my right-hand side, facing the right-hand side of the room, left hand on top of my right hand, just adjusting myself and then making these nice big sweeping movements, keeping my body facing, or my lower part of my body facing the right hand side of my room, allowing my upper body to open out as I go. For 1, keep breathing. For 2, 3. Good. From here, I'm just going to roll onto my back and I'm then just going to bring my knees towards my chest. Have my knees like hip width apart, flexing or pointing my toes, it doesn't matter, hands on the knees. And from here, I'm just going to roll around a couple of times each side. So I've done 2 rolling around and then I'm going to reverse it. And then I'm going to just bring my knees to my chest, give myself a little bit of hug and just rock from side to side. For 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly allowing those feet to go out. And then we're going to grab hold of the roller the last little bit. So we're moving down the spine. Sitting upright if you can initially. And then bringing the roller the very lower part of your back. If you're really tweaky in your lower back, I suggest you either really modify this, as in don't go as deep, prop yourself up against a wall or the side of a bed or the side of a couch, or don't do it at all. You can just be on your back and go into a mini extension without the roller. Up to you. If you're feeling good, slowly popping your weight back on the roller, using your hands as control, maybe getting onto one elbow and then the other elbow, and then slowly, maybe lifting your bottom up initially, finding a position where you can sustain it for a period of time. So popping that bottom on the mat. If you've got a pillow under your head, great. And just from here, finding a position where you can hold it. If this is really aggravating your back, move out of it. There's no point aggravating an area which is already aggravated. And again, from here, we can just use a roller. I'm not staying here for too long. I'm just moving slowly from left to right, just slightly. I'm lifting my bottom up and then driving it down. For 3, for 2, for 1. From here, I'm going to cross my arms on my chest, or if I want a modified variation, I'm going to put my hands either side of my body. I'm going to lift my chin off the floor, squeeze my abs, and then just roll the roller all the way up my back as if I'm on a sun lounger. So from here, I'm just going to roll back and forth for 3, keep my chin into my chest for 2, for 1. Good. Slowly sitting up into a nice upright position, place the roller out of the way. And then finally, we're just going to work a little bit on the lower back and the glute area. So coming into a nice all-four position. In this all-four position, what we really want to see is elbows, wrists, and shoulders all stacked on top of each other. So fingers splayed on the mat, hands shoulder width apart, knees below the hips. I'm going to take my knees out slightly wider than the hips for this exercise. I lift my right foot up and I'm going to take my right foot over the top of the back of my left leg. So from here, lifting it up, moving over, and as I do so, I'm taking my gaze around the left-hand side of my body, really feeling a crunch on my left-hand side. For 3, for 2, for 1, releasing out. I'm actually going to take my foot all the way around the other side. I'm taking my gaze around towards the right now. So my foot out towards the right, my gaze is out towards the right. For 3, for 2, for 1. Once again, bringing that right leg in, that right foot in, to over that left leg, taking my gaze. For 3, for 2, for 1, and then all the way back out again. Taking my gaze around towards the right hand side of the mat. 2, 1. I'm going to switch sides. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a different angle now. So left leg up, toes up. As I take my left toes over the back of my right leg, I'm taking my gaze round towards the right hand side of the room. I should be able to see my toes. For 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly releasing that leg. Taking my gaze round towards the left-hand side. For 3, for 2, for 1. Doing it once again. Left foot over the top of the back of the right leg. Might need to adjust your stance here. 3, for 2, for 1. Taking that left foot out. Taking my gaze out with that left foot. For 3, for 2, for 1. Coming to your all fours position. Final little exercise, coming into a couple of cat-cows. Okay, so what we're going to do is we inhale, we're going to lift our tailbone, lift our chin. We should be nicely mobilized in this extension position. And as we exhale, we're going to really slowly roll up. So tuck our tailbone, tuck our chin, round our shoulders, round our back, throw our hips forwards, and maybe just rock in this position for 3, for 2, for 1. Transitioning into a neutral position, your tabletop, and then one last time, lifting the chin, lifting the tailbone, engaging the pelvic floor if you can, pushing away from the mat with those shoulders, creating some space between your head and your shoulders. And as you exhale, rounding the back, tucking the chin into the chest, and again, just maybe rocking forward for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly coming back into that neutral position, walking your hands back. Thank you very much. That session was all about trying to get that spine mobilizing all the way from the thoracic area right down to the lumbar, which is the bottom bit. If you have any particular acute pain in your spine, just avoid maybe doing some of those exercises that might trigger it. Otherwise, if you just feel generally tight, it might be quite good for you. I really hope you enjoyed that session. And if you've got any comments, please leave me a comment, please leave me a like. Otherwise, I'll see you on my next session. Thank you so much.